Hello, my beautiful friends, community. Thank you for joining me. Now, question: has technology gone too far? Have we lost ourselves? Are we losing ourselves in our society? So, I'm sure if you are watching my channel, you're probably on board with living more simplistically with regards to going within self, learning about self, upgrading your consciousness, spending more time understanding yourself, asking the bigger questions in life. But the thing is, in society, things are going crazy, especially with technology. And this is one of the areas that I was working in for a long time. I was so fascinated with technology, and I spent 20 years in the digital space. Now, when I was in this industry, it was a bit of up and down because I did really enjoy many aspects of working in the industry. I worked with many startups, building and thinking of new ideas that would solve problems. And they all seemed amazing and very exciting to be on. And it also became part of that status rapport of what I was doing, what I was accomplishing, and meeting people. And it was all about the latest and greatest and best things, and what are you working on, and let's build that, and all these ideas flying around, which actually I quite liked that part of it. And look, if it wasn't for technology, I wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to connect this way. So there is value in what we're building as a society to make our society more connected, for example, but also there's the side that is pushing things a little bit too far. There are a lot of things that are very questionable, but still, I find that when you're in an industry, it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole and get stuck there and not take a pause and say, okay, wait a minute. How is this actually serving humanity? How is this actually advancing our society? How is this actually advancing our evolution? How is this actually advancing our consciousness? And it's so easy to get lost in things, working for a specific industry, or even just wanting to consume and buy things, because also too, that is part of our culture. That is part of, I worked in marketing for years, and I can talk about this for a long time. Now, an industry where it is based on manipulation. It really is. And love it or hate it, the industry in that realm is all about getting people on board to think differently. Now, when I was in marketing, a lot of the strategies were, how do we get people to feel in alignment with this thing, with this idea? And there was a lot of psychological manipulation, because our job was to go into the mind of the client, of the demographic, and find out their strengths and weaknesses, find out how we can communicate to them and appeal to them in a way where we are going to convince you that your life is going to be better consuming this product. It is sheer manipulation. We all do it in marketing to an extent, because there are tactics that are used that need to be put in place to align with our demographic. Now, when I was working in marketing, I really had a difficult time with this, because I found it very difficult to convince people to buy things that I didn't personally agree with, that I didn't feel served a place in our life, or didn't serve a place to help people evolve or be healthy or live their best lifestyle at all. So it was very difficult for me, that aspect. Again, I loved the big ideas. I loved stretching my creative insight. I loved coming up with unique ideas. I loved being able to solve problems as well. I really enjoyed that. But again, there was that aspect of it that was very psychologically manipulative. And being part of this industry, it was nonstop with new inventions, new ideas, new innovations, new technology. And when you're in the industry, it actually is quite exciting. It really is. And it's almost as if whatever you can dream, you can make, essentially. And so you get used to working within a strategy, or within a certain restriction or requirement. And then within that model, it's basically like, just take it and run. See what you can come up with. How can you solve a big problem and create a solution that's going to help a certain industry or help a certain demographic, which again, I really loved. But the thing is that as a society, we've gone too far. We have gone way too far with this and kind of lost our way. And so it is very much of, I love to observe, I love to watch, I love to really go into the human psyche, going into a lot of different industries of the why. I like the why. I like to go right into their why. Why is this happening? How is it serving a purpose? Why does society need this? And asking those big questions. And it's really important. Critical thinking is huge. It has been lost in society as well, unfortunately, because we're so distracted. There's so many distractions. It's really taken away the ability to question before acting, before doing. Now, it goes into so many things I've already talked about. It goes into our health and wellness. It goes into our, well, even just the things we consume, buy, invest in. So we really need to, as a society, take a step back and slow down, really, because it is very apparent about how out of control this world can be and has become also in many aspects regarding this. Especially when you look at a lot of these big advancements in technology and in our society. Some are great, some are really truly helping our evolution. We live in a technology age, so that is fine. But again, there's that fine edge of what is actually happening, what is actually evolving to help humanity versus not helping humanity. And I feel that there are a lot of big industries that are taking advantage of the cool factor, of things that young adults especially might find interesting, but isn't good for them and isn't really going to be helpful for them in the long run, that they might invest into. For example, children with smartphones. You know, when smartphones were really starting to pick up, a lot of younger adults were starting to want smartphones. Now it's very common for a 14-year-old or a 12-year-old to have a phone, which is unheard of. I mean, now I'm going back into my age range and I know how I'm going to sound when I say this, but when I was that age, I was outside playing. We lived just outside the city on an acre of small acreage, but in the forest, we had endless opportunities to be outside, to be creative, to be imaginative, and I was so grateful for that. We grew up in a very healthy environment. I don't want to completely derail about my history, but that completely played a huge role in being critical, being healthy, but also not being distracted all the time, being able to turn it off. It is really going to take a massive shift or awakening, I feel, with regards to society of the masses to really understand what is valuable for them, what is valuable for them to consume, what is valuable for them to invest in, what is valuable for them to be part of. And it's so easy. This goes back to the video of reclaiming our power, being decisive, being critical thinker, knowing when to consume something and when to pass, and when to realize that this is really not helping or serving a purpose in our society or with my life. And coming back to ourselves is crucial. And I'm going to keep reiterating this, and I know you probably already know a lot about what I'm saying, but it's just so crucial that if I can keep hammering it out there, then this is what needs to be said, is we need to go back to the basics. We need to go back to ourselves. We need to be in our power and have the ability to choose and to know and to see and to intuitively, instinctively understand what is being used for the greater good and what is not. Because again, there are a lot of distractions out there. There are a lot of distractions. There are a lot of things being designed and being built to harm us and to distract us even more. And so many people are on board with these things because they haven't taken the time to pause in their life, connect with themselves and go, okay, wait a minute, is this actually serving a purpose? There are a lot of powerful people out there creating things that are damaging our society and damaging humanity and damaging the world. And so humans need to start moving into the space of connecting with self, going in, reclaiming your power, and start asking these bigger questions. Is this helping humanity? Is this helping me? Is this helping my family? Is this advancing us? Is this meaningful? If not, I'll pass. I'll pass, I'll pass, I'll pass. I can't wait for that to happen because, again, there are a lot of things happening in the world that are just really, really crazy. So I do encourage you out there watching, if you're inspired by this video, even just on a regular basis, just see what is being sold to consumers, just see what is being pushed onto consumers, just see what is, and it all comes out in really fancy, really attractive, really colorful marketing. It all comes down to that. That plays a huge role. Is the marketing, is the sales, is the wow factor, the influencers, the people who are also at the lead of it, influencing others, bringing people into this technology or this idea or this thing that you have to be part of, or this movement that you have to be a part of, or whatever it is, persuading people, the power of persuasion. That's what it is. So it's almost as if the greater society just wants to be told what to do. It is so easy to manipulate the masses. It really is. That's why it's so easy to sell things. It's so easy to get people on board with things. It's so easy to get groups of people fighting against each other, believing one side, believing another, having a stance because one influencer said one thing, another said another. And this is the whole dynamic of the 3D, right? Of the dualities. And so when we are all one, these things won't matter. But it's going to take a long time for us to get there because the divide has become so strong and the manipulation has become so strong. And to the degree of where people have lost themselves has become so strong. Now, if you caught me in another video here, I did mention that I see humanity as 3 groups. I see the people who are evolving to a higher state of consciousness, probably you watching this video, those in the middle who are right on board to make that move, sort of feeling it, looking into, maybe closet researcher, or just starting to maybe dabble or be interested and curious in these bigger questions, and then those who aren't. And unfortunately right now, those who aren't are the majority. And it's going to take quite some time. Things are moving, definitely. But again, there are a lot of big bodies and big bodies of power who are still controlling the masses and who are still influencing through the power of influence, marketing, influencers, and it's easy. It really is easy to do. So I always encourage everyone to think critically, ask yourself, do I really need this? Is there meaning attached to this? Is it helping humanity? Is it helping myself? Is it helping my family? Is it helping the earth? Whatever the questions are, it has to come from a place of meaning. If we choose things based on, well, that seems cool, or my friends are doing it, or everyone else is doing it, or the TV told me so, or the advertisements told me so, or the influencer who I look up to told me so, then we've lost our way when it comes down to that point. And at some point, a lot of us have done that. I feel that is part of our human conditioning. It's not fault of our own. It's just how we were raised. It's how society has been programmed in a way, how we've been programmed coming from that lower density environment and all the systems that have been put in place for a long time. So again, we're coming out of that, but I do feel it is going to take some time to get our power back, to come into ourselves, to come back into alignment, and to start questioning within our society. So thank you for joining me here on this video. I will be seeing you soon. I am wishing you all the best and take care.